Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming my June wrap up and honestly, do I even want to? I forgot to calculate my pages before filming. I don't bother doing that. It doesn't really matter how many pages I read. But in June I did Whateverathon, of course. I was a host for one of the teams. I had a really great time and I ended up reading 35 books, which was insane. I actually wanted to go for 40 but that didn't happen because I did also go to holiday. And in those 2 weeks, I read much less than I was planning to, but it's all good. 35 is still a really good number, and I'm going to try to talk about all of them here. Obviously, not going to go like in super duper detailed because I don't want to sit here for like 2 hours. But yeah, I would just go through them, and I don't bother saying what was for each bingo, etc. I kind of showed you in the vlogs what I did for each. But yeah, let's just go and get started. Where is the first book? Sorry, they were all in the piles and now I can't find it. I found it. So the first book I started out with was Dødelig Saga, aka True Blood book 4 or Saki Stockhouse book 4, which it's called in English Dead to the World. And this one just continues the series of Saki Stockhouse, who lives in a world where vampires have come out of the coffin. She can read minds, and she gets invested in whole this vampire world after she gets a vampire boyfriend. I assume most people know about this, especially like, you know, after the TV show aired. And I'm like currently like kind of rewatching the TV show, but slowly, while also wanting to read all the books because I had them for ages. And I do like them, it's just like I don't love them. They're really like simply written where you can just enjoy the story, while I feel like actually the TV show fleshed out the characters and everyone much more. But like they're still enjoyable books. They're all fine. You just get Saki's point of view here. This was fun because certain things with Eric in here. It was a good season too. But yeah, I think I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Docile by K.M. Sparsa, which I was so excited for, and I ended up very much enjoying it. So this is set in a world where people can give themselves up as dociles to sell away their debt. So like they have a lot of debt for whatever reason, student loans or houses, whatever. And if they can't pay this back, they can like go and sell themselves. The rich person will get them as a docile, which means that like they're kind of, I would say, a slave slash servant. It's not really a good thing, but they do consent to this. But is it really consent when they didn't have any other choice than to do this and, you know, go to prison because they couldn't pay the debt? And then we follow our main character, who I've forgotten the name of, Alicia? I don't know if you're supposed to say it as Alicia, who decides to sell his debt and he gets bought up by this dude named Alexander. And then I think this book is really good at exploring and trying to discuss what consent is under this capitalism system, and like there's so many things you could talk about in this book. It was written very intriguingly where you could really think about all the things that is brought up here. It's not, you know, sugarcoating it in any way, so you could definitely like feel a deeper commentary and meaning to the story, and I really appreciated that. It was kind of a 5-star book up until the end, like the last 150 200 pages. I don't actually remember exactly how many, where the story lost me a bit. It was a very like not as interesting and intriguing. I don't know, I didn't like where the story went. It was just like, can we get on with it? I don't know how to describe it, or like go back and forth. I don't know how else I would have written the ending myself, like thinking about it. Not that I'm an amazing writer, but it's just like something about the ending where I was just like, meh, it loses me here. But like if I read reviews where they also talked about the ending, because it seems like more people don't love the ending, they would be able to put it more into words of what was like the icky feeling there. But yeah, it ended up being a strong 4-star, 4.5 star, because I am apparently picky, but it was very intriguing. I was like so invested. So yeah, obviously also can't discuss properly books, so meh. Then I read Saga Volume 6, continue the story, and I am enjoying it. This had a fun ride, very dramatic. Don't know how to describe obviously Volume 6, but it basically follows these 2 people who fall in love and they're for different species, so have been in war for each other for a very long time, and they get a child, and then they on an adventure through the space. But yeah, I am enjoying the story, and I am just reading them, and I don't know how to review single volumes right now, so we are just rolling with that. Then I read Tell Me How It Ends, an essay in 40 questions by Valeria Lucelli. This one I also read for 12 Friends Recommend 12 Books challenge, and this is basically just Lucelli, who works as a volunteer in like people who question immigrants that come into the country, because she is a translator, mostly from Mexico and Central America, and then we just see like that system in her essays. And I do think it was really interesting to learn more about this process, because it's a very, very horrible one, I would say. But I also think that this was written just a bit all over the place. I didn't like love it as much. Like, we jumped a lot back and forth. I wish it was more like but I still learned a lot and I don't regret reading it. But I just like didn't love the structure and like how it was written. It was a bit messy for me, but definitely an important book, so I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. This one just follows Simidel, who is one of the Mami Vata, and this mermaid who collects souls for people who die in the sea. And then this dude has fallen into the sea and he is not dead yet, so she saves him, and she's not supposed to do this, so she then need to go on to this journey to ask for forgiveness for doing this. And it is a very, very fun story woven in with like creatures and legends, etc. from West Africa, and I just really, really had a good time with it. I love mermaids, I love the ocean, the sea. It was just like a good vibe overall. Didn't care for the romance, I guess, as is really normal in YA fantasy, but it definitely also has some darker themes to it as well. So yeah, I end up really liking it. 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Machinehood by S.B. Divya. And this one is a sci-fi book where the future is very like fancy. So all the people are like on this pill, which makes them like stronger and better so they can keep up with machines. It's really weird. And then this Machinehood comes out, which is kind of like, I was gonna say a terrorist group, but that sounds a bit dramatic. New group that like say they will stop people from taking pills, and it's like a whole crisis. Has a world and it gets threatened. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And I didn't read the synopsis before starting a book, because I usually don't. So at first I was very, very confused, but I saw also people being confused by it as well. And while like I did enjoy like some parts of the story, it wasn't at all, I think, I didn't really like the story. Like, it didn't also like shock me in any way. It just went very much like forward in a line, and I was just like, oh, when it was over I was just like, that's it? After all this, that's it? I was just like so like, felt really underwhelmed by it. I really don't know why I felt that underwhelmed, but I felt like I was reading this like whole like novel, and then we just ended it and I was like, oh okay. Didn't love it. It was a bit confusing. And like the storyline wasn't even like that intriguing either. So 3 out of 5 stars to this one as well. Then I read Beastars Volume 14, Continuous Story of Beastars, which is basically a human drama, but they are all animals and they don't eat each other anymore. And I follow Goshi, who is a soft boy who falls in love with a bunny. And there's just so many things and politics in this. It's a very enjoyable series, okay? I enjoy it a lot, and I'm oh my god, 14, oh my god. So I'm having a blast with this, and I really recommend it. Yay. Then I read A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison, and this one follows these 3 sisters who's part of this family who's cursed, so they cannot leave this island slash place they live in, so they're trying to break this curse. They also have 1 magical item each, which does different things, and it's really cool. It's just a very, very fun and cute middle grade. I ended up really, really liking it. It was just such a fun story where it was whimsical and fun, and the characters were just really great together, and I just love all the different personalities and just how things were solved. It was a fun time, even though like the last part of the story they did a thing which I think always can bring plot holes, but other than that, like, I did enjoy it, and I'm just trying to think that it's a middle grade and I should like overthink stuff sometimes, but I just do, I cannot help it. But yeah, I'm very curious to see like what the sequels are about, because we kind of had a little, I would say, wrap up for this story, so I'm just curious to see what they will find up in the sequels, but I'm very, very excited for it. But yeah, I just love how this was built up, and it was just a very, very solid book, so very, very happy I read this. 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Spindle Splintered by Alex E. Harrow. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling set in our world at first, and then she goes into the magical world of Sleeping Beauty. And our main character is also very sick, so she's trying to find a cure for her sickness, as well as saving Sleeping Beauty from her fate. And it is very short, as you can see. A sequel is also out now, but it just packed so much into the story of how short it was. It was just so good. I obviously read it in less than an hour, but I just loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Probably, I can see here. It's the only book I get 5 stars for the whole month, apparently. But yeah, that makes sense. It was just so good. I just like almost cried. It had such a good moment. It was built up so well. Loved it. So badass, cool, getting goosebumps again, amazing friendship, amazing themes, also a FF story here as well, just mwah, loved it. So I really recommend this one. Then I started with Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which I didn't love at all. To be honest, at this point I'm just like, what did I read? Because I, like, my mind cannot keep all these books contained in my head. But yeah, this is Secret Red Rising. How do you even describe Red Rising? But it's basically where this certain part of the population is lied to and oppressed, and then our main character joins like the elite part to infiltrate them, to take them down, because he is part of the oppressed part. God, that was a sentence. And it's also like, is it a Mars? Mars? That's a sentence. And he would just follow, you know, the second part of the story. I just didn't like anything that was happening. I just didn't see what was the plot in this book. I don't know. I guess I also just don't care about the characters, and I don't really care. So I'm curious to see what I feel about the rest of the story. Hopefully I'll enjoy that more. I just wish I enjoyed this. There was nothing about this that I liked. I liked like one scene. So I think I'm giving like 2 out of 5 stars. Because I didn't like a lot, okay? So now the next book I read was Carry On, but throughout the month, where were the other ones? This is not Carry On, this is Wayward Son, but I read Carry On and Wayward Son and Anyway the Wind Blows, all on audiobook throughout the month, so I'm just going to talk about them all together. But yeah, Carry On and Wayward Son were rereads. I have read Carry On I think 4 or 5 times now, Wayward Son once, but now twice, and then Anyway the Wind Blows for the first time. So I want to finish this trilogy. Look at these flowery edges. And it basically follows Simon Snow, who is the worst chosen one ever chosen. He's supposed to defeat the evil insidious humdrum in the first book, and they're trying to like figure out the threat. They go to the last year at Redwall, which is a magical school, and then like the other ones just follow up on that. I have always loved this series a lot. I really like the world and the characters. I love the characters and I enjoy the world. I just think that the plots could have been a bit stronger throughout the story, but since I care so much about like the things our characters go through, it is okay. And it used to be one of my favorite series. I don't know if it's my favorite anymore, just because I feel like I've grown a bit away from this queer story here, because there's other queer stories I would like to support more, you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. Well, I can still of course enjoy this, but I think it had really great parts and moments, and it's not like I would forget about the series either, because as I said, it used to be one of my favorites. I just wouldn't consider it a favorite anymore, but I still enjoyed it. And also like I feel like the last book could have had a bit more, because it was a bit like that's it, this is the storyline we're going with. You know, I felt Wayward Son had a bit more like exciting stuff because they were in America and it was really fun. But like the third book was a bit like it just went on and on and on. So that was a bit disappointing. Oh well, I finished it. Yay. Hopefully now it's over. I would read more of the characters, but we don't need more. It's fine. Then I read, oh god, Kings, Queens and In-Betweens by Tanya Berteu. You know, now I deleted this book from my brain, but I just really dislike this one actually. So it's like supposed to be like a really like queer book, being like, oh my god, because you have a main character who is gay. Happened in this one, she gets rejected by her best friend, and then she's just trying to find out like love and like how it works, and then she meets this other girl, and it's just the way queerness was handled in this. I had this iffy feeling the whole time. It just rubbed me the wrong way, whereas the author was trying to like put in all the queer stuff and just be like, oh my god. But I know the author's queer as well, and I want to be supportive, and just like I feel like it came from a good place. It just felt like a book was written 10 years ago when you were trying to write a queer book then, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. There was this other character, there was so much like slurs in here which wasn't really like addressed properly. There was just this one really great character that like carried everyone. I was like, why does this character have to like do all the hard work while all the characters super stupid? It just rubbed me weird the whole way. I don't know why. Like I cannot describe why. I just got at least like what all the time feeling. So yeah, I think I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars. because I generally don't give 1 stars, like, unless I hated a book. And I feel sad about it because I want to support, you know, a queer person of color author. But it was just not it. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyone read it and feel the same as well as me, put words into what I'm feeling, because I can apparently not do it. Then we have Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 14 by Gege Akutami, continuing Jujutsu Kaisen. Follow these different students at Jujutsu High. They're all learning to fight curses. And it's a great time. We're in like this long battle. And it is very cool. I really love it. Okay, I just cannot describe anything right now, apparently. Then I read Summers at Castle Auburn by Sharon Shin. This one I read on Kindle, and it basically follows this character that I've forgotten the name of. She goes to Castle Auburn every summer because she's the bastard daughter of a noble. And then she goes there in summer to like connect with the family and blah 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 blah. And then at home, she goes home to her village. And it's just before these summers, a lot of intrigue in court. It was just such a good time. I was so invested in everything that was happening. It was such an enjoyable book. 4 out of 5 stars really strongly. I seriously had such a good time with this, even though the cover sucks. And I was very surprised by being so invested in it. But I did enjoy the story a lot, okay? I actually really recommend this one. Even though it looks silly, it was just so good. And then finished up Promised Neverland, 20 was the last one volume. My heart. And I cannot deal with it. It was so beautiful. And I enjoyed it immensely. So I don't have words for like the ending, but basically follows this challenge in an orphanage that finds out a really dark secret about the orphanage. Beautiful, intriguing, the best thing ever. I like haven't loved the last few volumes, but I appreciate how it ended, and I appreciate the story a lot. It's meant a lot to me the last few years, and I am nostalgic that I finished it. So yeah, that's what I got to say. Then read Swordman's Lament by G.M. White, and this one just follows this Swordman who is now accused of a murder. I don't want to say more because I didn't read the synopsis, so I didn't expect certain people to get killed even. But it was interesting. We're just trying to follow a character, trying to clear his name. And I did like the setting, like the intrigue of it, even though like it feels really obvious when it's revealed. It's not like you're shocked by it. But like it didn't matter in the end. It was just a good time and I was invested. So I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars, or 3.5 I would say. Yeah, an enjoyable book. Then I read another one that I didn't love so much, which is Redwall by Brian Jacques. So this one is obviously a bit older of a middle grade. And I also read this for 12 Friends Recommend 12 Books Challenge. And I didn't even get there were animals at first, okay? I didn't really get it. It was written a bit weirdly for me. It was not an enjoyable journey at all, actually. Don't really have much to say. They're just trying to defend Redwall. And then, yeah, I am the kind of person I think who always continues series. I won't continue this one. 2 out of 5 stars. It has some meh books this month, apparently. Then I read Breach of Peace by Daniel B. Green. This one is like a little novella thing, following the characters that we're gonna follow more, I think, out in the trilogy he's gonna write. And here we just have a murder happening to these nobles, and we're trying to find out what murdered them. And then I was like, what? When certain things came to happen. I am still a bit confused, but it was a good time. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was just, you know, short and interesting, but I don't know what, like, it wasn't amazing either, but I'm still like, what was that? I think that would be really cool to see more of in the sequel, which I already have. I think I'm giving it like 3.5 out of 5 stars, or 3 stars. Like, it's not a 4, it's like a 3. But yeah, I didn't hate it. Horrible at reviewing things, apparently, and I'm curious to see in sequel what will happen. Then I have Come Tumbling Down by Shayna McGuire. This one is the next one that I need to read in the Wayward Children series, which I do adore. And basically Wayward Children series is a series following children that come back from portal worlds, magical worlds that fit them, and then they need to adjust to our born world again. So they go to the schools to try to adjust to that, following kids from the other stories. And I didn't love this as much, just because we follow characters we've seen before. And while I would love to follow some of them and go on journeys with them always, it's just like a storyline, or like with characters that like I felt like already had wrapped up the story. So I felt like it was a bit like we got another book with them. I don't want to like spoil it, but I just felt like it wasn't necessary. I would rather read about like a different world, different characters, because I would just want to learn about different worlds, you know. I just didn't feel like I was invested in this story as much, because I was just like, oh damn, again. And for me, that wasn't it. But I still love how it's written, love the world, love the characters, etc. But I think so far I just felt underwhelmed by this. So I'm excited to see how we'll feel about the next ones. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts. I then read Ophelia After All by Rachel Marie. This one is a YA contemporary for like Ophelia, who always has crushes on boys. Like, she's known to be like a boy liker. But then she's like, but what if I have a crush on a girl? And people, she's really like scared to like change who she is and say this, because she's always been known for this one thing. Like, that's her thing. And she like has friends, and there's like drama between her friends, and there's a lot of things happening. She's going to graduate. It's a good one. It's a good one. She has a really big friend group, which I feel like is a normal in YA contemporary, just because they usually have like 1 or 2 good friends. Well, here like a bunch of people. And at first I was like, who are you? Who are you? But then I got really used to them, and I like to see all the different dynamics between them, and like see like, oh, you are my friend first, and we are better friends, and we hang out, but you don't really hang out with me. And it was just like very interesting, because I feel like that's not as normal to see in YA contemporary. And I feel like, of course, friend groups like that exist too. So I liked it. I liked the different dynamics, etc. there. And I liked that my character Ophelia a lot too. I liked to see his story, and I liked how this was written. It was just overall cute and good, and good vibes. So 4 or 5 stars for this one. And then I also read Demon Slayer Volume 9, which turned out to be my last manga for the month. Kind of just happened, but yeah. By Koyoharu Goto Uga. This one follows Tanjiro, whose host family is killed, except his sister turned into a demon and is trying to find a cure, so it becomes a demon slayer to work closer with the demons. And we go around killing demons. It's a good ride. Really, really love the story. This one is so funny. We're still covering like the, I was gonna say the 3rd era of the anime, and I'm just like, oh, I love it so much. Okay, I love the characters, and I just love the story. So just having the best time. So the first book I then read on holiday, because now I went on holiday, was The Last of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I actually started this, I think, in March or April. I was going to buddy read this with Justine. That didn't happen, so she told me to just read it. I had one chapter of it, so like I had not read a lot, but I had started, and now I continued it. Oh my god, the text is so tiny in this. Good thing I read it on my Kindle. So basically follows Locke Lamora, who is a thief, and he has like a gang of thieves, and then there's lots of intrigues of stealing money, and he's working for someone, and there's like a lot of different things going on at once. There comes this dude in town who's trying to take over from the dude he's working for that controls the town. It's a whole thing. And while I did enjoy it, I just felt like it was a bit long, and just like nothing shocking happened. I was just like, oh, this happened and this happened, but I was invested. I wanted to see where it went in the end, but it just didn't feel as invested as I should. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I didn't hate it, but it just felt very average to me. While like I heard that like this is the most amazing book ever, I thought it was going to be like a 5-star read, but I ended up giving like 3 stars, which feels disappointing to me. So like, as that I liked it, but obviously I wasn't like wowed by it in any way. So that was a bit disappointing, and I just felt like Locke Lamora is smart, and I'm excited to see what he will come up with in the sequels. And I thought some parts were fun, and there's still so many parts of his past like we don't know, because we skip many years. I'm excited to see how they will be explored more. I am invested, but not as invested as I thought I would be. Then I decided to start another huge fantasy book right afterwards, which wasn't probably the best decision, which was Rune of Kings by Dan Lyons, which also had really tiny fonts. A good thing I read that on my iPad. And this one, I don't know how to describe it. I was so confused the first 100 pages as well. So we follow Kieran. I mean, he tells his story of like when he was marked by a demon, and his life will never be the same. It's just says behind here, and he just goes out of this journey. But it's told like in a interesting way, because we told it from 2 point of views, while like everything is after the fact, kind of. So we know it's gonna lead up to a certain point, and then it's told the same story of the same dude, but from 2 point of views. So like we have like up to a certain point, and then afterwards from his actual point of view. It's like very interesting how it's written. I don't know how to describe it apparently. And there's also like footnotes, which are also kind of fun, but it was a bit annoying on iPad because I had to jump back and forth, and that was annoying because they were all like written in the end. I did like it. I was, as I said, confused, but I feel like that is normal at the beginning of a fantasy like this. but then you just invested and you're just like, oh, I see now. And I was really invested. I really liked the intrigue, the magic, everything that was going on, which is a really cool book. Definitely like really thought through. I did really enjoy it. And the next one I know goes a bit back, like it's not a direct sequel, it was another character, but leading up to that point where we go to in the end, and then the third book actually that continues the plot. So I'm excited to read about this other character, and then excited to like continue like the actual plot line, because I'm just like, dang, I need to know, I need more. So I'm very excited to now start this epic fantasy series, and I'm excited to continue it. But I'm horrible at reading sequels, so when will I read the next one? Who knows? Who knows? Should do it in theory soon. I already have it. I'm slow. If you know me, you know. Then I read The Sum of Everything by Julian Winters. So this one just follows Wes, who's gay, really in love with his best friend. And then he works in a bookstore that reads a lot to him, but then sadly that bookstore sort of closed down, so they're trying to find a way to save it. And it's just very cute, big nice fun group here too actually. All of them working together, him crushing and just like having to adult to do stuff. It is a very cute, very fast-paced read, and I really did enjoy it a lot. I enjoyed all of Julian Winters' books, so now I'm just like here for this author forever. Yay. I then read How We Fight for Our Lives by Saeed Jones. This one is actually a memoir, and I read it on the audiobook. So it follows Saeed Jones, who is black and gay in America, and it basically just tells the story of how it was to grow up as a black and gay, and how his relationship with the people around him, I think that was happening to him, and it also really close to his relationship with his mother. It was a really beautiful book. I really liked how it was told. It just felt emotional, and you really invested in this life, which like seems, I think, sometimes weird because I don't know anything about this person beforehand. I'm just reading about his life, and it was very enjoyable, very heart-wrenching as well. Really great memoir, and I really enjoyed it. So I give it 4 to 5 stars. Obviously, could talk more about it, but I feel like that pretty much covers what I wanted to say. So we're moving on. I then read Sweethand by N.G. Peltier. So this one is a adult romance, and it follows these two characters who really like have been having a rivalry for many years, and they are for the first time on the island together on Trinidad, and they just like have this spark going between them. So obviously they're gonna start liking each other, obviously, because it is a romance, and I thought it was cute and fun. I did want them to be together, etc., and it had some great romance tropes that I adore. I just wanted a bit more smutty, that's one thing. And it wasn't like it blew my mind or anything. It was enjoyable, but it wasn't like, oh my god, the best book ever, you know what I mean? But I still enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it. I had a good time with it. It was sweet, you know, sweet. I just wanted a bit more substance, but the characters were still good, and I had a good time. So I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read Sylvanas by Christy Golden, which is the newest World of Warcraft book following Sylvanas, where we see her story. And I was very hyped for this. I listened to the audiobook on this, and Sylvanas, who like actually does her voice in the games, reads the audiobook. So I think that is really awesome. And I love Sylvanas as a character, and I love the beginning of this book where we follow her like in her childhood, seeing her be with her family. It was just wow. That was like 5-star material right there. But then we came into the details in the games. I mean, not details, but like we came into the story of the games, where we skipped a lot because it's more like here at this point it's like, if you play the games you know, if you don't then you don't. And obviously you couldn't have written all that out anyway. It's too much material, too many factions from the rest of the world. It would be like really single-minded as well, because there's so many other events that doesn't cover Sylvanas to cover all the things that's happening in the world at this time. But it was just like, I feel like this book could have just covered Sylvanas as a child and then ended it. So I like, not as a child, but like in a family before we see her in the games. And then when we go to the game lore, it's like we ended here, because now you know what happens to her anyway. I feel like that would have been much better than like having this super ass long book, just skipping. And I was so confused at times as well. because I just didn't know we were in the game. I don't know all of World of Warcraft's history like in my head, even though like I love the generally vibe and like what has happened in the different dimensions, because like I've been playing for a long time. I don't remember it all, so I was just like, where are we now, who's this? And it was just a bit confusing, so I just didn't love how that part of the story was written. I just kind of wanted more when it felt like a solid story in the beginning. I just loved how the chapters were building up. I just loved to see her relationship with the different characters. That could have been brought out so much more, but since we tried to cover her whole life, it became not amazing. But yeah, I'm still giving it 4 out of 5 stars because I still did enjoy it a lot, but you can see my problems with it though. So yeah, that was easier to explain than anything else apparently. I then read Nightfall by Shannon Messenger. This is book 6 in the Keeperalong series, obviously for Keep Along, which I'm hosting with Pris and Sasha. And oh my god, it's so big in real life, because I read this actually on my iPad as well because I was on holiday, and I didn't even consider how big it would be in real life. Holy shit. This one follows Sophie, finds out she's an elf. She goes into the oven world and meets many different threats and stuff there. And that's how the story starts out. We are far from that now. This was a really fun one. I really did enjoy this one though. Very excited to see and talk about in the live show really soon. Actually, I think the live show has been one that's being posted, so I will leave a link to it down below if I remember. 4 out of 5 stars for this one. Really enjoyed it. Very excited to discuss the nitty-gritty details of the story. Yay. I enjoyed this much more than the last one, which I didn't enjoy as much, so I'm happy about that. I then read Earthlings by Saga Murata. So this is the author of Convenience of Woman, and I love that. I had to read this like ASAP. Actually like within the next month, which is amazing to be me. This one just follows our main character, Natsuki, who has tried to believe that her stuffed animal was an alien. And then dark things happened in her past, and then we are her in the future trying to deal with fitting into society. It's the same themes I think when there's a woman where like you're trying to fit in this society that wants just certain things from you, and she doesn't really want that, but like she's expected to want that. Then it turns a turn, I would say. It definitely has dark parts in it. I really recommend looking up trigger warnings, because I was just sitting there like, what is going on right now? It's definitely much more obscure and weird than Convenience Store Woman, but that was also weird as well. This one was a ride. I was like, what is going on? I don't think I loved it as much as Convenience Store Woman because of the obscurity. Like, it loses yourself a bit. It feels like a bit of a fever dream. And I love the vibes and I love the story. I just like feel like Convenience Store Woman, you know, hits me harder in a different way because it was more concrete. But like, still enjoyable story. And reading from this artist is so fun. So like, one of my favorite authors now, definitely. And I think I'm giving it like 4 out of 5 stars, 4.5. But it's still something to think about. It is truly a weird one. Then I read If We Were Villains by Al Rio, which is this dark academia story set at this actor school. And then we have this friend group and one of them dies. And in the future we have our main character being in prison for a murder that did he commit or not. We're trying to figure it out. While I was less focused on the murder part of the story, actually I was more just invested in the characters and the relationship between them, what was going on there. It's like drama. It's really fun. But there's too much Shakespeare in there. I don't like Shakespeare that much. So it's just like, for me, I didn't care about that part of the story at all. And since there's so much of it, it's impossible to ignore. So I was just like, please stop with the Shakespeare. But I did enjoy it a lot. It feels very sophisticated and cool. I just think that fits really well for the atmosphere of the story. Love the characters, and it turned out to be so gay. So love that as well. And I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Starfish by Akemi Down Bowman. So this one just followed a main character, what's her name again? Kiko. And then she lives with a mother who's super abusive to her. And then she's just trying to find her own way after not getting into the art school she wanted to go to. And it's just her finding her strength and just having this mother that literally went on my nerves. And it was almost scary because it reminded me so much of certain things that I know of. I was just like, what am I reading? I don't want to go into the details, but like, it was really weird how I could relate. Me personally couldn't relate, but how we could see this so clearly for something in real life. And it was just a bit scary because I felt like it was written directly out of that. And I was like, whoa. So that is something that happens when you read sometimes. But generally a really beautiful story. Really nice contemporary where a character's just trying to figure out shit. But oh my god, her mother. Sorry. So 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read the original by Brandon Sanderson and Mary Robinette Koval. So this one is an audiobook only story for now, and it basically is super cool, and it's set in the future where your memories can be accessed by the government no matter what, and then a main character has probably died, and then these memories are now being used to make a copy of the main character, and we follow this copy trying to find the original, which is why it's called an original. And it's just so cool. I cannot even describe it properly, but it's just so cool concept, very true, you know, with like all sci-fi stuff, like how society works. There's like such cool details in this, how Brandon and Mary did this in such a short amount of time, like just building this world is so cool. I don't want to like spoil it when you find it out in the story yourself, but it's just so interesting of how the world was built. It's kind of scary because I feel like we would do this for real as well, but yeah, it's really like an eye-opener for how the world is for the main character as well. But yeah, since it was just so original, that was funny. Give me 5 out of 5 stars. Oh, I had another 5 star. That was fun. But also, like, the story was fun too. So, really cool. That's 3 hours long. I was like, how do you do that? I don't know. And yeah, the last book for the month was Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. This is the Facing Gates pick for June. Sorry, I wanted to finish it in June. The live show haven't happened yet. So I want to keep a bit of my thoughts to myself because I want to keep it for Facing Gates Live. Haven't like actually officially rated yet. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it, honestly. I just know that I did not enjoy myself. That's all I got to say, actually, literally. And I didn't even say what it's about because honestly, can I even tell you? It's just like a heist thing. But is it though? Is it though? That's like what I gotta say. And it has FAES. That was the end of the month. And we have covered all 35 books and my voice is literally dying, but it's all good. I hope you enjoyed this wrap up. Talking really weirdly about all these books. Thank you so much for watching this. I had a great time with Whateverathon. I had a great reading month. Hopefully I won't read as much in July. Let me chill. Let myself chill, please. Leave a starfish emoji down below if that exists. Then just, I don't know, another sea animal thing. If you enjoyed this and you will see me soon in a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!